Today, we're taking a deep dive into Hindutva. It's a political ideology that's not just reshaping India, the world's biggest democracy, it's really challenging its very foundations.
It's a word you hear all the time when people talk about modern India, right? Hindutva. But what does it actually mean? Let's break it down. Okay, so here's the most important thing to get right off the bat. Hindutva is not the same as Hinduism. Hinduism is an ancient, incredibly diverse religion. Hindutva, on the other hand, is a modern political ideology. Think of it as a form of religious nationalism. Its main goal? To transform India from a secular state into a nation defined by and for the Hindu majority. And this distinction is absolutely vital because proponents of the ideology often blur that line, trying to give a political project the weight of an ancient faith.
And this ideological push, it creates a direct clash with the very vision India was founded on. You're looking at a conflict between two fundamentally different ideas of what the nation should be.
This really lays out the conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got India's 1947 constitution, established a secular democracy that guarantees religious pluralism and equal rights for absolutely everyone. But on the other side, you have Hindutva, which kind of rejects that diversity and pushes for Hindu supremacy. In that vision, minorities, like Muslims and Christians, are often seen not as equal citizens, but as outsiders in their own country.
Now, this ideology didn't just pop up overnight, not at all. To really understand its power today, we have to go back, way back, to its roots in the early 20th century, where the seeds of this movement were first planted.
This timeline shows you the key building blocks. It starts in 1923, when V.D. Savarkar basically wrote the rulebook for the ideology. Just 2 years later, the RSS was formed to be its muscle, a really disciplined all-male paramilitary group. So even as India chose a secular path in 1947, this nationalist movement was already growing in the shadows. And it all culminated in that tragedy in 1948, the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi by a member of the RSS.
For decades after that, Hindutva was really a fringe movement in Indian politics. So how on earth did it become the dominant force that it is today? Well, the answer really lies in one single explosive event.
This date? This is a profound turning point. In the city of Ayodhya, a moment of intense religious feeling and political organization just exploded, and it forever changed India's political landscape. At the very heart of the whole movement was this incredibly powerful belief that a 16th century mosque, the Babri Masjid, was built by Muslim invaders right on the sacred birthplace of the Hindu deity Ram, and that they destroyed a temple to do it. This one story, this narrative of historical grievance and reclaiming a holy site, became an unbelievably powerful rallying cry. So on that day in 1992, a mob of Hindu nationalists destroyed the mosque. In the aftermath, it was devastating. It sparked riots across the country that led to the deaths of about 2,000 people, most of them Muslims. This one single act brought Hindutva from the political margins, boom, right into the center of Indian politics. And the momentum from that Ayodhya movement directly, and I mean directly, fueled the rise of its political wing, the Bharatiya Janata Party, or the BJP. And at the forefront of this political climb is, of course, Narendra Modi. A lifelong member of the RSS, he really embodies the movement's entire journey. So when he was elected prime minister in 2014, it wasn't just a change in government. It was the culmination of decades and decades of ideological work by the RSS and all of its affiliated groups. Now, with control of the government, Hindutva is no longer just an ideology you hear at protests. It's now being actively written into national policy. And honestly, there's no clearer example of this than the actions taken in the disputed region of Jammu and Kashmir. So here's what went down. In 2019, the government basically stripped Kashmir of its special autonomous status. They got rid of the ban on outsiders owning land, and they made it way easier for non-Kashmiris to get residency and voting rights. They even redrew the electoral map to give more power to the Hindu majority area. When you put it all together, many see these moves as a deliberate attempt to engineer a demographic shift in what has been India's only Muslim-majority region. And listen, this isn't just a what-if scenario. To date, over 83,000 of these domicile certificates have been handed out to people from outside Kashmir, giving them residency rights. That potential demographic change, it's already starting to become a reality on the ground. The changes in Kashmir are really just one part of a much bigger ideological shift, a shift that's raising some pretty profound questions about the future of secularism in India. And at the heart of all this are the country's nearly 200 million Muslims, along with other religious minorities like Christians. For them, this isn't some abstract political debate. No, it's a growing, real fear that their status as equal citizens is being systematically taken apart.
And you can see this influence everywhere. For instance, there's a controversial new citizenship law that fast-tracks citizenship for refugees, but it explicitly leaves out Muslims. Cities with historic Muslim names are being renamed to Hindu ones, almost like trying to erase a part of the nation's past. School textbooks are literally being rewritten to remove chapters on secularism. And all of this is happening at the same time as a sharp rise in mob violence and hate speech aimed at minorities, often with little to no consequences for the people doing it.
Ultimately, India's story is part of a bigger global trend of rising populist nationalism. The question that's left is a critical one, not just for India, but really for the whole world. Will the nation continue down this path of becoming a Hindu state, or will it find a way to reclaim its founding vision of a secular, pluralistic democracy? The answer to that is still being written.